The door of the roadside bar creaked open just as the last streak of evening sunlight spilled inside, cutting through the smoky air like a blade. Every loud voice, every drunken laugh, every clinking bottle froze for a heartbeat as a small figure stepped into view. She couldn't have been more than 16 or 17. A leather jacket hung off her shoulders like armor borrowed from someone twice her size. Her sneakers were muddy, her jeans torn, her ponytail messy from miles of walking. She stood still at the entrance, clutching her jacket as if it were the only shield she had left. Then the laughter returned, louder this time. Rough, tattooed men filled the room with mocking grins. The Iron Wolves, one of the toughest biker clubs in the county, weren't used to teenagers walking in alone, and definitely not teenage girls. Tank, the largest of them all, leaned back in his chair and laughed loud enough to shake the tables. "What is this? A lost Girl Scout?" The room roared. Boots stomped. Bottles clinked. But the girl didn't flinch. She just stood there, breathing slow and steady until the noise died, slowly, awkwardly, like even the laughter didn't know why it had started. That's when the men saw the patch on the back of her jacket. And everything in the room shifted. If you believe in kindness, loyalty, second chances, and quiet courage, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with others, and subscribe to Kindness Corner, because stories like this one deserve to be heard. The patch on her jacket wasn't ordinary. It was old, faded, but unmistakable. Iron Wolves, founding member. A heavy silence rolled through the bar. Men who had just been laughing sat up straighter, exchanging looks of disbelief. That patch didn't belong to outsiders. It belonged to legends, the original riders who built the club long before these men joined. She turned slowly, meeting their stunned eyes. Her voice was trembling, but steady enough to carry. "This jacket belonged to my dad," she whispered. "Eli Rivers." A cold hush fell instantly. Eli Rivers, a name etched in the memory of every biker sitting in that room. Eli had been one of the Iron Wolves' finest riders, a leader, a protector, a man who died years ago on Route 66 while saving a family trapped in a burning car. None of them had seen his daughter since the funeral. And now here she was, walking into their bar wearing his jacket, like a battle flag. Her name was Mara, and she hadn't come for nostalgia. Her mother was sick, bills were drowning them, and no one in town seemed willing to help. "Mom always said," she murmured, "Dad's brothers would never let us fall." Her words cut deeper than any knife. Around her, the once rowdy men bowed their heads. Their laughter turned to shame. Eli had been one of them, and they had promised to look after his family. But promises have a way of fading when years pass, and guilt has a way of catching up when you least expect it. Tank, the same man who mocked her, stood up slowly. He removed his cap, rubbing a hand across his face as if trying to scrub away the shame. "Kid," he muttered, voice cracking, "you shouldn't have had to walk in here alone." Without another word, the men exchanged silent nods, the kind that didn't need explanation because the decision was already made. That night, Mara rode home not alone, but escorted by a roaring pack of motorcycles whose headlights cut through the dark like an army returning to its purpose. The Iron Wolves fixed her home, repaired the walls, rebuilt the fences, carried groceries, and filled the refrigerator. Neighbors watched in awe as the roughest men in the county painted doors, cleaned yards, and handed out warm meals. For the first time in years, Mara's mother smiled, a real, relieved smile she thought she'd forgotten how to make. But something else changed too, something deeper. The Iron Wolves, hardened by years of drifting, drinking, and bearing their pasts, suddenly remembered what brotherhood actually meant. They started charity rides again, delivered food to families who had no one left, visited veterans, raised funds for sick kids. They rediscovered the purpose Eli once led them with through the girl who walked through their door wearing his legacy. And at every ride, right near the front, was Mara, riding her father's old motorcycle, restored and polished by the same men who once thought they had nothing left worth fighting for. People in town began calling her the Little Wolf. She didn't just carry her father's spirit, she awakened theirs. Months later, at the annual Iron Wolves gathering, Tank handed her something wrapped in cloth. Inside was a newly crafted patch, black leather, silver threads, hand-stitched. It read, Legacy Rider, and beneath it, Daughter of Eli Rivers. As she sewed it beside her father's patch, not a single eye in that hall stayed dry. Mara looked up at the men, her father's brothers, and whispered, Dad used to say, the patch doesn't make you strong. It reminds you who you ride for. The entire room fell silent, the words settling into their hearts like truth they'd forgotten. From that day forward, wherever the Iron Wolves rode, people noticed a small girl among them, the one whose jacket told two stories at once, the story of her father and the story she was writing herself. And as the Iron Wolves thundered down the open highway once again, the wind caught Mara's jacket, the patches glinting in the sun, a reminder that kindness, like legacy, never truly fades.